Welcome back to the Wonder Bros Pod, where we rediscover wonder through the art of storytelling. My name's Cody.
And I'm Josh.
And we're currently on the countdown to Doomsday, rewatching every MCU film in release order all the way to Avengers Doomsday this December. Today we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, an interesting time for us to be talking about it. We're 2 weeks away from the launch of the next Spider-Man movie, Brave New Day.
As we film this, yes. The actual episode will come out right after Spider-Man.
Isn't that wild?
So we did not plan that. It just happened that way.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes we talk about the fact that I normally wear a collared shirt here. I find this the place where I can take it really seriously before we jump into the episode.
Yeah.
Vamos España.
Yeah.
Spain just won the World Cup. They're the only team in history to have both the women's and men's World Cup won at the same time.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that they won in the women's
side.
In the
entire tournament, they only afforded one goal. They only allowed one goal anywhere in there, and they have won 38 games straight.
Yeah.
They're a fantastic team. And
that's crazy.
I'm a nomad into soccer, but go Spain.
Yeah, it's great.
Great Chattanooga connection.
Right, I was about to say we have a Chattanooga connection with Spain, so I was definitely, when I wasn't rooting for the U.S., I was rooting for Spain.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure. So I was really excited to see them win, and we both got to see them play in the World Cup.
How cool was that?
I was working it, you were getting to see it in great seats, and but we both enjoyed it.
I did have great seats.
I ended up, in all fairness, I was doing a job, but the job during the match was just sitting there. So I was sitting directly behind the screens that are the banners. It was so
you
fun.
could have spit on the grass.
I feel like I did get spit on. Yeah, that's great. It was amazing to watch and to see it live and to get to see these players play up close.
That's right.
Because I love soccer. I love watching soccer, and to see soccer at that level was really, really fun.
Yeah, it was wild. And because we were getting to watch Spain v. Saudi Arabia, I mean, they kicked their asses 4-0.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It was crazy.
Hey, just to kind of tip my own hand here, it was so funny. I was sitting one row down. Was a guy who is a stereotype. He's kind of a
sure.
I hate to say it this way. No, I don't, because it's my family. Redneck, kind of with money, wealthy dude, but just good old boy, salty.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. I don't know if you remember seeing it, but I mean, it's Falcon Stadium. It's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and so it's already red.
Right.
And then Spain's wearing red.
Yeah.
And so it's a sea of red. But somewhere on the internet, all the Saudi Arabia fans were like, we're sitting in this section. So
right.
One section of green. And they had that call and response guy who was like calling out Arabic, like cheers.
In the megahorn, yeah.
And it was so funny watching the guy in front of me like pucker. And especially when the one guy was like, I don't know if you heard it, he was like, Allahu Akbar, right? Which is, praise be to God. And so, or like God wills it, right? And so it was so funny to watch this guy be like, and he's just good old boy. It's fine.
Sure.
I'm actually a military veteran that joined in 2001, 2002. So like that whole like Islamophobia was part of why I joined, and thank all the gods that's not who I still am.
Yeah.
But it was just so fascinating to watch this dude. And so he was sitting right in front of me. His spouse was sitting 2 seats away from me. Mm-hmm. They were not sitting together. Sure. But she was like leaning over and going like, can you believe they'd be doing that? Yeah. and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I can believe they'd be doing that.
Yeah. It's their game.
Totally cultural.
Yeah.
That's right.
It is always crazy, yeah, for sure. Of course, then you have the other end of the spectrum, which was me sitting behind the screens listening to their chants in that language and literally tearing up.
Me too.
I was getting so emotional listening to them. I loved it so much, yeah. And to hear both sides, to hear Spain's fans, like they're singing their own songs, they're doing their own things, and I felt like a privileged guest to be able to sitting in somebody else's party in somebody else's space, and it was really fun to like be there to observe it and appreciate it.
Absolutely. So in the U.S., soccer is something that's still growing in popularity. We're still in the baseball, football space. But to be hosting the World Cup in a country that's incredibly divided and co-hosting with 2 countries that, at least at a political level, we've got some beef with, even though at a personal level we have no beef with Canada or Mexico. Just sort of in our executive branch, we tend to shit on our neighbors, which is stupid.
Yeah, especially right now.
Especially right now. But we had this rare moment of like intense unity where all these nations were coming across our country and across our continent, and they were having these moments of just real connection around this game. What a great gift to be able to experience that. And yes, I love the way you said that. I felt like a guest in their house, even though they were in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
I felt like, oh my gosh, I've been invited to something quite special.
Right.
It was a real gift.
Well, and to be like standing, like I couldn't be on the pitch. We're not allowed to touch the pitch, but to be standing on the fake grass that is the pitch,
That's
and
right.
be standing like. And you experienced this too because your seats were so close to the pitch
close.
as well. Like you hear, like being that low, you hear such a loud. I actually registered it on my watch with a dB meter, and it was over almost 120 dB.
Wow,
which is crazy loud.
Yeah, particularly when they were right in the beginning, where they were like, they were trying to get us to cheer for everybody, and they were running the decibels. On
that wasn't nearly as high as when somebody scored. When Spain scored, it was the loudest. That's when I was like literally waiting, and I would be like, as soon as they were getting near a goal, I'd hit it to see. And so I think when they were reading it was only like 100 dB, like 90 to 100.
Yeah, 108. Like that. Yeah.
So to hit 120 was crazy.
It was wild.
But we're not here to talk about soccer for an hour at least. And so let's get to this movie. And really, honestly, I know you're procrastinating it. You had a hard time getting through this. So
I did.
You did. So this movie, just get into a little bit about it.
Today we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home.
We are, yes. It has been a little while since we've said it in the beginning, so I should probably say it again. July 2nd, 2019 is the final film of Phase 3. I can't believe we've already gotten to the end of Phase 3. That's crazy.
Which is wild, because it really does feel like an encore.
It does.
Yeah, because we just watched Endgame.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have to include it in Phase 3 because of the mourning of Tony Stark and all of that. So, like, it makes sense that it would be the end of Phase 3. Directed by John Watts, which we will see. He's returning from Homecoming, and we'll see him again in No Way Home, directing that movie as well. All right, well, let's hop into some of the origin of this story, and really, because we don't need to go into origin of Spider-Man, I'm going to go into some of the origin of kind of the build-up and behind the scenes of the movie that I thought was interesting.
Sure.
John Watts and his kind of location shift. So, unlike Homecoming, which filmed mostly in Atlanta, this sequel was shot primarily in London, with additional locations in Venice, Prague, and Czech Republic. So they actually filmed on location, which is always surprising to me. You never think they're going to do that. It's incredibly difficult to do. But he said the shift was Kevin Feige said the shift was deliberate. Most of the sequel takes place outside of New York, so Marvel wanted the production to actually reflect that. Gyllenhaal, he entered negotiations back in mid 2018. He wanted to play Mysterio's fake backstory as realistically as possible, and building back as someone who genuinely believes his own grievances is justified, not as a cartoonish liar. And so John Watts described the character dynamic this way: if Tony Stark was the strict mentor in the prior films, Mysterio was designed to feel like the cool uncle, someone who validates Peter in ways Tony never did, which makes the betrayal land harder.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job with that.
Absolutely. I will say, this might be the good point to say, like, I tried 3 different times to watch this movie and I couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
The first time I watched this movie, I really enjoyed the movie. But that's because it was like, oh, here's another cool Spider-Man movie, and holy shit, they outed him, right? Which is going to come up later on in our episode.
Shout out to J.K. Simmons crossing over from another universe, playing the same character. That was always fun.
Right. That was cool. However, now that I've watched No Way Home, the third in the trilogy, and I recognize the entire problem of No Way Home happened in this movie, in Far From Home, and watching every adult that should be caring well for this minor.
Right.
None of them. So May is putting him on platforms and making him, like raise money. Tony's gone. Happy is dating May. Maria Hill and Fury are just mad at him for not showing up and being a superhero when he's a fucking minor.
Yeah.
His his teachers are throwing him under the bus. He can't catch a break, and now this other guy is moving on Mary Jane, which is now making it feel more like a Euro trip. You ever see the movie Euro Trip?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it feels like that. It feels. I'll tell you where this came up for me. Watching the movie Home Alone as a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, I've said this in a previous episode, so I'm not going to dwell on this very much. But watching that movie as a parent, you're like, where the fuck are the adults taking care of this child?
Right.
Like
terrible parents.
We should be losing our mind now that any adult would be talking to this child this way.
Yeah.
And I got that exact same feel to the point where I couldn't finish the movie. It was too painful. This happened to me in The Walking Dead over and over again. If I talk about The Walking Dead to a fan, without fail, every one of them say the episode where Negan kills Glenn while Maggie is pregnant.
Yep.
It ruined it for me, and I had to come back to it later to finish the series.
Yeah.
To a person, everyone has said that fucking episode ruined me.
Yeah.
In that very same, like, gut-wrenching, twisting, I can't finish this movie. That happened to me in this movie. So, I mean, usually if you and I end up not watching the movie, we just kind of move on and let the other one carry that. But I want to call it out right here.
Yeah.
When we talk about the second half of this movie, you finished it. I did not.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot I have to say about the first part of the movie. The end of it, you're going to carry this.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning, this is the very first movie with no Stan Lee. Rip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we pretty much covered the origin story. I'm ready to jump into the pull list if you are.
Too. Let's go.
All right, cool. So the Avengers tribute video at the very beginning.
Yes.
Film opens with a high school news segment memorializing the Avengers lost in Battle of Earth, complete with deliberately awkward high school production value. One of the funniest cold opens in the franchise, I think, still held up because I laughed out loud when I saw it. I was just like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe they did this in this movie.
In the middle of that video, there's this footage of the basketball game where the band blips back in and the basketball just gets run over. I thought it was really funny. I usually hate meta narration.
Yeah.
And this was definitely meta narrating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, oh, this feels campy and immature, just like a school news outlet would. So I was like, it actually fits
making
here.
It so dramatic. And was, but you know, they meta narrated in a way though that gave us information we wanted to see.
Was it Sarah McLachlan, Arms of an Angel?
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was.
It was something
like that. Yeah. And, which is also its own throwback in its own way, which is kind of cool to anybody that's our age. We remember those commercials where they're like the dogs or the children. It's like in the eyes.
Oh my God. Have you ever heard Jim Gaffigan talk about that?
I think so.
Where he's like, yes, even the dogs are like, this is a little much, Sarah.
But yeah, no, it was great, and what I was saying, the meta narration, at least they were giving us scenes. I wanted to see the blip in other places.
Yeah,
every time we've talked about it before, and we'll talk about it when we get I guess this happened in the show, but like the Yelena coming back, we've talked about that a couple times,
right?
But I think that I could still see more of that because, like I said, we have a lot of questions. What about the people in the helicopter at the end of Infinity War? Like, do they blip 100%. Back up there? Do they? Yeah, so I mean, I think it's interesting, and so the basketball scene I actually really liked. That's kind of just a side note for the tribute video.
It would be a really fun. So that scene that happens in Ant-Man 2, where he blips back and he's walking through what feels like a post-apocalyptic scene,
right at the beginning of Endgame.
Beginning of Endgame.
Yeah,
pardon me. So at the beginning of Endgame, where Scott is walking through the world and he's sort of like, "What happened?" We could have 2 or 3 seasons of a TV series there that felt post-apocalyptic.
Yeah,
of people coming back from the blip.
I mean, it was 5. or the people during the blip.
Seeing
other scenes.
That's right.
Like they only gave us one story of the blip, and that's the beginning of Endgame.
Right.
We don't see any other people and what they had to do that were still alive during that 5 years. I mean, it'd be an interesting thing they could do, a TV show or something more street
really
level,
fun story.
And the very end of the show is them blipping back. Like it's such a perfect.
Or doing what they did in the Odyssey, which is a blip back and it's a cut back and forth between what's going on, what happened, where are we now, what did it. That would be fun to see. I think like half the episode, roughly half the episode being at the moment of the blip, and then the effect of that.
Yeah.
Whenever they blip back and watching that change.
Yeah, you could do flash forward back and forth between also like the different, like you have like the blue scale, like all cold colors, and then you can do all warm colors before the blip.
Yeah, that's
as the people are like remembering flashbacks.
That's right.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Have you ever seen the what's the show? So and so can fuck himself. What is that?
Oh yeah. I can't remember it, but it's got Annie. What's her name? From,
every time
from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, that's right. Every time the guy is on, it's like it feels like a sitcom.
Yeah.
And the moment he's not on the screen, it feels dark.
Yeah.
You could do something like that.
I've always wanted to watch that show. Is it good?
I watched the first 2 episodes, and because somebody in my life is really important to her, and she was like, "Hey, this is how I lived when I was married."
Oh wow.
And that's like that is a rough to think that's what was true for them.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and felt triggered. I was like, this fucking sucks. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it because it's too true.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, but
what's your next pool?
Very first pool was the opening newscast. Again, I think that it shows the complexity. You have to think about, again, like pilots who blipped up mid-fight. The next one is, again, early on. This is a problem that happens in the lead up to the release of a movie where too much is given away. We knew Mysterio was coming, and we knew historically Mysterio is a villain.
Yeah.
So early on, we're all ready for the turn.
Yeah.
Peter Parker isn't. But early on, whenever he's like, it's really nice just to have someone to talk to about all the superhero stuff. The first conversation he has with Mysterio, where he does kind of feel like that nice uncle. We saw it in Homecoming with, I'm gonna mess her name up. His AI, where he Karen, his AI Karen, where he's like, oh man, I just have nobody to talk to. Peter is a very lonely character, and even more so in the episode 3, Far From Home or No Way Home, and then again in Brand New Day. Yeah. He's a very lonely character. There's not a lot of people to talk to. So that first interaction, if you didn't know for sure this is going to be your villain, it was a really cool scene. That first moment where he's like, "Hey man, what if you just had a drink and blew off some steam?"
Yeah,
it's good.
So my next pull is the drone chase swinging sequence, that whole fight scene. I thought this is probably one of the most innovative Spider-Man swinging sequences ever put on film. Okay. I think it's better than... So Andrew Garfield, one of the things he really had was the choreography of Spider-Man. He crawled like a spider. He moved like a spider a lot of the time. And you don't get to see that with Tom Holland. I think we will see it in the new Spider-Man, the Brand New Day. But up until this point, we haven't seen, and even after No Way Home, he doesn't move like a spider. It's actually pretty brute force a lot of the time. Just really strong, using his whole body. He doesn't feel like as agile and like small. And so I think that that's something that Spider-Man has always had in the comics and in the cartoons. It's like he was like nimble. He was like this skin,
That's right. Hard to hit.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he was super strong. You find out later he's super strong, but what you find out about Spider-Man is almost impossible to hit.
Right.
You really do get that in the drone fight. It's a really
you do. Yeah. And like him swinging across, using the drones to swing around, like the way his acrobatics in it and the way that he would like destroy the drones. I thought it was innovative. It was interesting. It was creative of a fight scene. It was something that like you actually really want to watch. It's not like the time you go, have to pee and go to the bathroom. Like a lot of times, like Madison hates fight scenes. She always says that they bore her. That's what puts her to sleep most of the time in movies is fight scenes. Wow. Because she's like, it's boring. It's always exactly the same thing. And she'll literally
ducks,
exactly. It's always the exact same thing. She's like, I know that if I go to the bathroom now, I get back, nothing's changed. I know exactly what's happening still. So it's just kind of funny to say. But I thought this was a really cool scene.
Yeah, if I can date back to the first time I watched this movie, I did like I thought it was funny, where the girl's like, take off your suit, take off your clothes, put on your suit.
Yeah.
And the other guy walks in, he's like, it's not what you think. It was like, again, it felt Euro Trip.
It did.
It kind of had like a little comedy to it.
Sure.
But that does lead me into my poll in 2026, which is the use of suits here. So, I need a suit so they don't know who I am. You get the Night Monkey suit. And of course, Ned names him Night Monkey. Or where he's designing the suit on the plane with Happy. Yeah. Like this is a good one. Like you get to see him being the new Iron Man with Happy in the room.
Sure. You just stole my next pull. It's for sure. Right. I literally get emotional watching it. When he's the one like using the machine, he pulls his thing up and he shows his arm.
Just like Tony did.
And I think I get emotional because I remember how emotional I was the first time I watched it. And I, of course, as we're going through these movies, I just watched Endgame again. And so I felt that same connection back to my previous version of me that watched this in real time and got so emotional, and it really stuck with me. And and truly, this is also a reminder to me this time when I watched it how I'm terrified that they won't be able to recreate that again. And as we're counting down to Doomsday, I just, as of this recording, we just saw the trailer finally. Yeah. But I had hardly any reaction to it because I felt like I'd already seen it.
Oh, sure.
And because we've already seen the leaks and there's the whole thing. But
there were elements that so again, by the time this thing airs, hopefully anybody following us has already seen the trailer.
Yeah.
But spoilers on the trailer. there were a couple things I didn't remember.
Yeah.
From the conversation.
Well, they'd add things.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like Loki wasn't in the original description at all.
And the Captain America reveal with the two factor.
That was in the notes.
So I didn't know, I don't remember that.
Oh, okay.
But I love it. This is not my call out. Somebody else on the internet called it the two-factor authentication.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Where he's like, he sees Steve and then he's like holds out Mjolnir and then he has to call Mjolnir to him to find out, is that really the right Steve? I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to Doomsday, but I don't know if you were going to say this because there's a lot of expectations riding on that new movie.
Right.
And it's got to cover a lot of ground. And anytime Marvel has tried to cover a lot of ground quickly, I often feel rushed, and I feel like I end up with more fizzle than I want.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I've read you haven't, but I have read the actual, like, supposedly it's the synopsis of the movie.
Oh.
And basically tells the plot. But the problem is that if that is true and it is the real plot, then we are basically getting Thanos all over again. It's the same storyline. So it's
I'm so sad you just told me that.
I know. I hope it's not. I'm saying it out loud because I'm actually thinking, I'm really hoping it's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's the real synopsis, but that's like something that's been floating around on the internet, and it's just like, oh, man.
You know, it's funny. My former wife, with all three of the first two of our three kids, she didn't want to know the gender of the kids. And the reason one thing she always said was, it's one of the last true surprises. And it's funny how, like, this shit all gets leaked. And at the end of the day, we're like, we all know what we're about to see before we walk in.
Right.
I was talking to somebody today. They said, I asked, hey, did you see the Brand New Day trailer that's just released? And she said, no. She said, I watched the teasers. And then I don't touch them again until the movie comes out because I don't want to know.
Yeah. My friend Josiah that I do the other podcast, the Enneagram 5 podcast, he never watches trailers ever. He always goes into a movie blind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind and I think it's just because I think that there's an art to making a really good trailer, and I love watching really good trailers. I used to literally sit whenever we get new trailers. When I worked at the movie theater, we'd have to get them, and I would have to check all of the ads. So I would literally just throw every trailer in a row and sit for like 45 minutes and just watch trailers on the big screen in a theater by myself. And it's like that's a great. I love that memory. I love it because I love sitting down and I love a good trailer. It's an art. It's an art form. So it's like I get that he doesn't want to be spoiled, but you're missing out on an opportunity to appreciate a different type of way to tell us a very quick story that's happening.
If it does what it's supposed to do, which is without giving away too much, build anticipation for the release.
Exactly.
Then do it. Yeah. Did you see I know you saw it because we were sitting in the fucking theater together, but that trailer for Other Mama? Other Mom or whatever.
Oh, yeah. The jump scare?
That fucked me up sitting next to you in the theater.
Everybody jumped in the theater.
I nearly shit myself, dude. It was so scary. And
it was so good.
I'm pretty good at horror. Like, I can do it.
Yeah, I like them.
It's not a thing I love, but I can do it. Hell no. I'm not watching that movie in the theater. I need it to come to streaming so I can watch it on my shitty TV in my apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing it.
I think we've officially derailed, but it's just to keep us going in that direction. I watched all the Paranormal Activity movies in theaters.
Okay.
And there's always and I watched them by myself in theaters.
Ooh, gross.
The first one me and my brother went and saw, and then we came home. But the next ones I always saw in theaters, and the next two I think I was still working in a theater, so I would just see it by myself in a theater.
Ridiculous.
But they're much they're much creepier.
Yeah,
and a lot of times I was watching them at like 2 a.m. in a theater. I'm the only one in the building.
Hard pass.
And my theater was super haunted.
I remember.
Yeah, I think we've told the story on the show. Yeah,
that's right.
Anyway,
do you have any other polls? I'm done with poll. I'm ready to go to the parking.
Okay. The Nightmare Illusion sequence. Mysterio's illusion, attack on Peter, disorienting, visually innovative, genuinely unsettling. Very much reminds me of something that would be like a Disney theme park. But it also doubles as a clever Easter egg because visually teasing concepts that would later become like the foundations of What If of Marvel Zombies imagery. I mean, I thought that was super cool going back and watching it.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last one was the foreshadowing line, no one wants a bullet in their head. While Beck is working out how to integrate like the drone weaponry and like putting it all together with his team, he says when he gets mad and wanting them to take it seriously, he says no one wants a bullet in their head. And that's exactly the way he does.
That's right.
So
right.
It's kind of fun. Anyway,
yep. All right. I did catch that. The no one wants a bullet in their head.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, That's how
like direct foreshadowing. Like being very literal.
Yeah, that's right.
Spark and Fizzle. What's your sparks?
The first one that I had that was a spark. I kind of like went was whenever as much as I already shit on Fury, when he's like, "Bitch, please, you done been to space."
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's a little Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, they really try to make us think that he's about to say motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right.
Like there's no way around it. And so when he starts to get that tone, he gets that attitude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How about you? I've got a couple more.
Go ahead, just go through them.
MJ figuring out Spider-Man and then not being totally sure, but then he's like, he would rather tell her he's Spider-Man than tell her he likes her.
Yeah.
It's very junior high. Obviously, they're high schoolers at the time. But it's like it's very innocent.
Yeah. Adolescent, yeah.
It's very adolescent. I just wish that we would have had him get a real resolution in that where somebody was on his team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at him like, no, Peter, tell her you love her.
Yeah,
right. Like, tell her you love her.
It's the other way around, yeah.
But again, like I've seen No Way Home,
right,
where he actually says that, and he's like, "I'm gonna come find you after you forget about me," and she's like, "Don't tell me you love me now. Tell me when you find me."
I definitely had that same thought going through my head.
That fucking scene in my head, I'm like, "No, tell her now. You're not gonna get a chance later.
Right.
I know for sure. I've already seen the next episode."
Yeah,
but it's still a spark for me. I actually did think Happy and May were fun. The little the chemistry between the two of them, and then my last spark is. So at the end of Homecoming, Spider-Man comes back into his apartment, takes off his mask. May walks into frame and goes, "What the fuck?" and goes to black. Same thing happens in this one where in the end credit scene where he's like, Quentin Beck has now outed him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And
that's off. True.
And I was like,
"Oh man, that's
funny."
Good. Yeah,
that's right. So it's a cool little carryover.
Seeing it this time, I forgot that May did it in the first movie. So that's a really good, exact bookend.
It's a callback.
That's so good. And of course, one of my sparks is J.K. Simmons coming back as Jameson in this cameo. Amazing cameo. I thought it was so well done. Genuinely, it bridges two different Spider-Man. It was such a throwback for us that have seen the first one. It's just like, how could you not?
And I didn't hate the update of the character where he's like InfoWars. What's that guy's name? Alex. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Alex Jones.
Well, fuck, I didn't actually want to give him a name on our podcast.
We don't have to tag him.
That fucking guy. Yeah. But he's the same thing. Like he's all like conspiracy theory on a web series.
Yep.
Yeah. And so like
it was a fun adaptation to current times. Yeah.
I think they did a good update of J. Jonah Jameson. It was good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my sparks really were kind of the same as my pull list because and we're about to get to it in the Fizzle, but there's most of this movie I actually don't like. There's some things that stand out to me. The drone chase scene is really fun. The Peter happy in the plane, obviously a great one. J.K. Simmons, super fun. The foreshadowing dialogue I liked a lot. And Gyllenhaal's performance as Beck, as bad as I actually don't like a lot of the character and the way that he is as a character, but I knew watching it that Jake Gyllenhaal is doing a really good job. I think he does a good job of being committed to the bit in the first half of the movie before you realize he's bad, because it really did just seem like this. It was almost childish, like we're watching a kid's movie when he's like coming in my universe. Just the way he talks, it feels.
Yes.
When you watch it the first time, you're like, this dude does not feel real. He feels fake, and of course it's because he is.
It was comically fake, and that again felt like that sort of Power Rangers or a Spy Kids movie where like Antonio Banderas shows up and you're like
dressed in black.
What are you doing here, Zorro? It's fine. And that was kind of the point.
Yeah.
Right. Like in all of this, we're supposed to experience. We all know Peter's getting tricked.
Yeah.
Peter doesn't know Peter's getting tricked, obviously. Yeah. That's all good.
All right. Fizzles, what you got?
One really tiny one, and then a couple that are much broader. The tiny one is, why didn't Peter anticipate Fury's dart when he shot Ned?
Yep.
I mean, he's got the Peter tingle for everything else.
Yeah.
They both walk into that room, and Peter didn't see that until after it was done.
Well, you could argue it's because he hasn't learned that he can't trust anyone that he knows really well.
Sure.
And so, your senses might be a lot stronger when you're, I think of, the scene in the apartment in No Way Home where his his Spidey sense is going crazy because he's so hyper aware that he's around a bunch of villains.
Sure.
And even though it seems like you can trust them, you kind of can't. So he's like really on edge, and he can just sense it, right? Yeah. And so I think that is something where it's like, if you look at it that way, you could explain it away in that way.
That's fair. That's fair. It still kind of struck me like he is like, again, later on he's going to dodge a bullet that's fired at his face.
Yeah.
But he missed this. And then the other fizzles are kind of broadly speaking about the movie. There's too much Peter frustration in this movie.
Yeah.
Nothing is going his way.
Yeah.
Everything is getting fucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, can he just get a win?
Right.
Can he get just one?
And the answer is no as of yet.
Right. I mean, arguably, at least for this movie, he gets MJ.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah.
But it's like, damn, that took a long time for him to get one tiny win.
Yeah.
That one was rough for me. Mysterio's mock mentorship of Parker, the lead up to this movie was, again, so spoiled that Mysterio was going to be the villain.
Yeah.
That the story arc, just, to me, it just felt like he was just being stupid.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. And then the last one is Mysterio's whole, like, reveal scene. Mm-hmm. It's one long fucking meta narration.
Yeah.
And you were there, and your technology was this, and Tony hated you, and you were there, and you hated you. And you're like,
I know, it's like, at this point, we're supposed to be broken from the character. Why is he still being cheesy and cliche?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. At this point, the mask should have come off. You're no longer acting. You're just in the room. And by the way, everyone in the room already knows all that.
Well, you could also, to play devil's advocate, I also saw it and watched it as like this kind of like, he's an interesting character. He knows how to motivate people. He can put on multiple different kinds of faces.
Sure.
So even that was a performance as he was manipulating everybody to make sure they're still in it with him, which also told you that they did have a company, or was it a company? Or was it like they were all just committed to the bit? Like,
you're right. That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
I still don't like it, but
I don't like it. But I mean, I could appreciate that it was like he's putting on another mask,
another performance
for his.
Yeah,
people.
That's right. That's right. So ultimately, he is the villain, even
because he was going to screw them too. Like, you also get this, like, okay, he's being inauthentic, so like there's a separation. Sure. Yeah,
that's fair. It was a whole long scene full of meta narration with everybody in the room already knew what he was saying, and it frustrated me.
I did like seeing the guy though that was at the big arc reactor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tony Stark did this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Like, you do a pretty good impression, honestly. Like, it's better than I could do.
Yeah, that's right.
Was that all your fizzles?
Yes, I'm ready to. Yeah, that's mine. What do you got?
I have, once again, we are seeing in this movie that the rules of physics don't apply when people are jumping from car to car in an MCU movie.
Oh, yeah.
We've
straight up.
Straight up. And like, they jump up and then they come back down into the windshield that they jumped at. No way.
Yeah. In order to do that, he would actually have to jump forward and back, like
really hard,
backwards,
like so hard you wreck the car, like a Hulk jump.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's silly. It's just not going to work.
You know what's funny? I saw that scene and was like, Cody's going to call this out.
Yeah. Here we are. And then the first half genuinely struggles. With stakes. So like for the first half, I mean, with these elemental threats, we're supposed to be believing in this storyline at this point, and it feels just like silly and low consequence for most of the film's first hour. So I was bored out of my mind.
Yes,
and so like which kind of just leads to my bigger thing is just I think that the entire storyline was stupid.
I'm with you there. That makes sense to me. Do you have other fizzles?
I'm done. Let's move on to the gutter.
Yeah. So my first gutter. We talked about this in Ultron, Age of Ultron, where Tony Stark tends to create his own worst enemy. In a way, as a potential torch is being passed from a Tony Stark to a Peter Parker. And then the Edith glasses go to Peter. And then Peter takes a person he thinks he can trust and he hands Edith over. Mm-hmm. For a very different reason, but ultimately is because Peter wants his life back, which, by the way, is what Tony wanted. He wanted to,
right.
At least he always said that, like, we get to go home if this works. Peter wants his life back, so he hands over Edith and creates his own worst enemy. So there's a gutter moment there for me that was like, oh, Peter has not just been mentored by Tony, but he is in fact acting like Tony.
Yeah, accidentally
creating his own villains.
It's true. Yeah. And with Tony's legacy, like Tony's legacy is literally carrying over to him. And it's like, and of course we find out that it's also Tony directly caused this villain because of all of the people that he had to inherit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's really kind of more like Peter's just getting just the leftovers. Like there's still just like residuals, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I realize this is the first time we ever get the blip. It gets its name. We get it, so like I think that's kind of fun. Of course, we get to see some of the social chaos that it caused.
Right.
So that idea of like we've kind of already touched on it, but like the 5 years coming back to find their friends had aged past them. Like I think that's kind of interesting. Relationships restructured. I was thinking about all of these things like an entire global category of trauma and confusion, and none of the prior films had room to explore. It's worth treating this as the film's most underrated contribution to the MCU's larger story, because actually sitting with the cost of the snap and the unsnap in a way Endgame's runtime just didn't allow. And there's just so much to explore there. Yeah. Because you think about, because they're both going to come back with completely different traumas.
Right.
You know, because to know that you blipped from existence for 5 years, that's its own trauma.
Yeah.
But then you're coming back to completely different lives. Maybe you blip into a wall or blip into a new, like we saw with Yelena, and a whole new place, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and for Yelena, what I loved about that scene in Hawkeye is that for Yelena, she saw the world around her change. For her, it was a immaterial distance of time from her looking down in the mirror to her looking up in the mirror.
Yeah.
So same thing for those that have blipped back. And you get a little bit of that in Endgame, where Peter meets Tony in Endgame and is like, hey, and remember whenever I got all dusty?
Yeah.
And then I must have passed out, and then I woke up and Dr. Strange was there, and I was like, and he's like, he is completely oblivious to the passage of time.
Right. Which he thinks he's literally just blacked out for a second.
Yeah. So, and you see that, like, remember that little kid, your younger brother, that little kid, now he's older than you.
Right.
And he's been here for 5 years and you haven't. So he's had to live with recreating a world, and you have to live with a world that doesn't exist for you. I'm absolutely with you on that gutter moment, but there's so much conversation to explore there.
I stand by. It would be a great TV show.
It would be a really good TV show.
Yeah. Any more gutter moments?
No.
Okay, I'm good with that. I think otherwise it's just going to be kind of regurgitating the same stuff, because I only liked so many things about it. So let's move on to the legacy.
Let's pause right there, because I think that's an important point on this movie, which is this was an encore film.
Yeah.
It's the end of phase 3. Mm-hmm. What we've had is, at this point, from 2008 to 2018, we have had a decade of, holy shit, what are they going to do next?
Right.
Oh my God. Can you believe what they just did?
Yeah.
And then we have I Am Iron Man. Mm-hmm. And all of us are going, can we just breathe for a second? And of course...
And also, we were very curious if they could move on from that and still make good movies.
Is there something next?
Yeah.
Right? And so then we get, coming up for us in this project, and coming up for us for those that watch these movies as they were released, you got movies like The Eternals, which I know that you have a very different opinion of that than sort of how it was received when it came out. We have another Doctor Strange movie that really sort of teased a whole new genre that we didn't play with. We needed a bridge. And if this movie did anything for us, it gave us this sort of character that we could do away with quickly called Mysterio. And it sort of gives that one more, hey, thank you, Robert Downey Jr., for all that you've done for us. And hey, Tom, we want you to carry this torch. But man, this movie was not that complex.
No. All right, so this was the highest grossing Spider-Man film at the time of its release. Wow. For some reason, I didn't put the number on in there, but we could assume it's pretty high. And the highest grossing film of Sony's entire Spider-Man output. So you're welcome. Closes out Phase 3 as its final film, the actual bookend to the Infinity Saga, and began with Iron Man in 2008. And J.K. Simmons Jameson becomes a recurring connective thread across the rest of the Holland trilogy. Yep. And the mid-credits reveal of Spider-Man's identity becomes the inciting incident for No Way Home, which is, at that point, that's the movie that's the moment that I left with going, all right, yeah, I mean, it was worth it for that, because it jumps to my favorite storyline thus far. Sure. But yeah.
Yep.
Let's talk about the stinger a little bit. So J. Jonah Jameson broadcasting on the dailybugle.net, which you were saying is like kind of funny.
Let's talk a little bit about something that Tony Stark did that broke tradition. In Iron Man 1,
sure.
I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
Now we have the heir apparent who is thinking that he's going to get to go back to high school. And he gets outed. He also loses his secret identity moving towards No Way Home. So he also gets his identity stripped and revealed right there, moving into No Way Home. And I think that's an important part of this stinger. That yes, it was cool. It was a great callback. I love having J.K. Simmons come back in.
Yeah.
But there's still, it is echoes of Tony Stark pushed through Tom Holland's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the opposite way, which is so interesting.
Right.
So that is the mid credits. We do get a post credits scene that makes me take back what I said earlier about feeling like actually I didn't really say this. We talked about this before the episode. I think that Maria Hill and Samuel Jackson don't feel like they're. The whole time I'm like, why are they acting so weird?
Right.
And when I watched this movie this time, I forgot that this post-credit scene shows that they're Skrulls. So we get to expand on this idea.
That's fascinating. I totally forgot because I couldn't finish the movie. I forgot that exists.
So this is where we first get to see Skrulls again after Captain Marvel, and we realize, oh shit, we are going to get to like the Secret Invasion. Like we're going to do a Secret Invasion storyline at some point because now we know they're everybody. And of course, you know, and throwback to when we find out that in Secret Invasion that the entire time Rhodey was a Skrull since. Theoretically, since he got shot in the leg by Vision.
Yeah, so that's wild. That even in our episode right now, I'm going fuck. Like I was so mad.
Yeah,
and I totally forgot those guys were Skrulls.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
so you have to take it back. So the whole idea.
No, I'll stand behind.
I mean, it was still very bad, and they were like, I mean, Maria Hill the whole time was like a robot. Like it made no sense at all. She was no emotional.
Which now makes sense because there's zero connection to Earthlings at that point.
Right.
This is the wife of Talos who has been up in space for decades, waiting for Talos to come find them. So yeah. Okay.
So Phase 3 officially ends with this movie. We move into Phase 4, beginning with WandaVision, which maybe we'll talk about it in the next episode a little bit, but amazing show. My second favorite Marvel TV show of all time. And we are going to move into another movie, I guess, that is going to question if Marvel's in the right direction. Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Right. Black Widow.
Exactly.
Next for us is Black Widow, where we have to find out whether or not we can still connect with Natasha Romanoff, even though the audience knows she's dying.
Yeah.
So at this point, Endgame's already happened. The sacrifice has already happened. Now, Marvel's asking us to go back in time and appreciate who she was before all that.
Right.
Between Civil War and Infinity War. Because that's the scene you get with her and William Hurt right there in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
With all respect to Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh took that movie for me.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean,
I can't wait to talk about her and David Harbour, honestly. I think the family dynamic's actually really great in that movie.
Between the two of them
and the parents, and just all,
especially now that we know what we know about Thunderbolts.
Yep.
I went back when I was watching Black Widow for note-taking purposes. I was like, okay, I actually, with all respect to Scarlett Johansson, she is a bolt. She's Ant-Man.
Yeah.
She's the just the reason everybody else is here, but the story's being told to the other characters.
And we thought it was going to be a tribute movie to her, and really what it was is an opportunity for us to be introduced to the other characters in the family, because they did a good job of it, because we are emotionally, by the time we get to Thunderbolts, we're emotionally connected to those characters in a way that was surprising for me.
Yeah, to all three of them, to Taskmaster, to Red Guardian, and to Yelena Belova's I guess Black Widow. She's a widow.
Yeah.
Though more of a white widow, because she always wears white clothing.
Anyway, that's a wrap on this one. We're going to call it quits. If you haven't joined us on the Wonderkin Discord yet, come hang with us. I promise we're going to be doing, for those that are already in there, we're going to be doing more things. Hopefully that is the goal. We're trying to make it a really fun community.
Go ahead and say what's true. Josh has committed to work in Discord a lot and hasn't taken any time for it.
There you go.
So it's Josh's fault.
I was trying not to throw you under the bus, but it is true.
Madison and Cody have been like, Josh, we'd love for you to handle that Discord thing. And Josh was like, hey, I'd love to.
Yeah.
That's my fault, y'all. Those of you that have already been in the Discord making comments, I appreciate you. I will be there. We'll figure this out.
Yeah. Link is in our show notes, and we genuinely love to have you. You can also find us on socials at Wonder Bros Pod, and if the show's been hitting you this season, review goes a long way, and we hope this episode has inspired you to find the childhood wonder in your life this week, and we'll see you next Wednesday with Black Widow.